I've been trialling the Primary Industries Unit 7 called Cattle and Sheep into Beef and Lamb with my students in Year 8. And it basically looked at the best practices that farmers in Australia use under the constraints of the sustainability and environment, and then following through to the best practices in producing the meat. It was important that this unit aligned with the Australian curriculum. It had many entry points where you could start the children depending on their interests, depending on their past experiences, because the unit also lent itself to integrating with other subjects. So you could tick off some science, some geography, some English, some financial mathematics with the economy aspect of the topic. So it was very easy to run with, easy to get some curriculum done, and the children loved it.
We fitted ag into science, technology and some of the S&E areas, geography, with the sustainability idea. So I think it's really important. I mean, otherwise the schools are really struggling to keep ag or the ag focus in their schools.
Ag is fighting to try and actually keep a stance in a lot of public schools, and having this unit with the national curriculum links allows us to actually have a backbone to stand on and say, this is what we need to do, this is how it actually impacts the students, and it helps to actually build it for the future, which is what we desperately need. This is a unit that I can actually get to other teachers that don't necessarily make it up the hill to where ag is, and they can actually teach this in the classroom, and then those students that do find that interest are able to come up here and we can enrich their education further with more in-depth and more hands-on. So it's something that can hopefully help bring the students into ag.
I started the unit in the classroom by finding out what the children knew about the primary production in Australia. I found they knew very little. They knew what a cow and a sheep looked like in the paddock, they knew what it looked like on their plate, but there was very little information in between. So I thought, well, this is great. We can delve into this. They have learnt so much about and been more appreciative of what it takes and how lucky we are in Australia to have such a wonderful industry and how we have to protect it.
There's group work in there, there's individual work, there's a whole range of different resources as well, where teachers can access resources, especially if you don't have a farm facility. So you want to show the students what bringing up cattle and sheep is like. But I think the group work was the thing that I think they found, the students found useful, and I did as well, because I could get around and actually see what they were doing, and they seemed to enjoy it more.
The unit also supplied background information for the teacher, which I read out to the kids and just put in perspective what Australian farmers do, not just for Australia but the worldwide food economy. The children found those statistics, like me, very interesting and very awakening, as in how much our farmers do produce.
It's hard to find that information sometimes, so their resources there and their links to other areas where you can get the information was really useful. The textbooks and all that are very limited for agriculture, and a lot of the other resources are limited. It's not a real big area. Like science, there's heaps of information, but ag there's not.
Knowing what websites to go to, knowing what is reliable, being able to look at something like the Target 100 and look at some of the different initiatives and see if there's anything that we can look at as a practice that we could use here as well. And it just helps to show that it's Australia-wide, but each area is still unique to its own needs.
It is wonderful to be able to go to websites that have been authenticated and already that the discernment doesn't have to be made by the teacher or before the kids get to it. I'm confident that you can just pick this unit up, go with it, and it is correct, up-to-date information.